Hey, what's up, everyone? This is going to be a story from my childhood. So, this happened in, I believe it was second grade. It was around the time of second grade. I had several strange things happen throughout my childhood. I felt this connection, as I stated in my previous video, if you get to watch that video, that I felt a connection with everything, a oneness with the universe, and like I was the universe was me, I was connected with it, and that somehow I connected with God and the universe as a whole, just fully connected with things beyond what most people can perceive. I seen things, heard things, I knew things, and just I was just spiritually inclined and connected with things beyond what many people can comprehend. So with that being stated, I was wondering, maybe this occurrence that happened when I was a child, maybe this child that spoke to me was not even really there. Well, was not part of what was there. I don't know if I'm explaining that right or not. So maybe it was a spirit, or maybe it was something or someone put into this world to speak with me at that moment. So, first of all, it was, I'm guessing around second grade, so around 2002, when I was in elementary school, and I was on the playground, and there was this area where you play, and there was a slide, and then there was another area that had the swings, and there was this woods on the other side. I can't believe they let us go down toward that area, that field, and this woods beyond that, which is now all built up with all kinds of everything else, houses and businesses and things. But so there was these trees and this ditch. We commonly played there, and then let's see, right before you get to the swings on the playground, and before they built the basketball court out there, which all that's gone now. We drove back by through there, and all of that's gone. But right about that area, I went up this, those areas, this kind of like it looks like a lookout place, an area where you just kind of climb up and you sit up in there, and there's a roof over it. That was what it was like. It was kind of like this area, this lookout place. And it was made of wood, like everything else on the playground. So I went up in there, and this little kid was talking to me. Well, actually, he was obviously a child the same age I was, but she said, "Come on, why don't you come on up here?" And she started talking to me about things that little children just don't talk about. She started talking about how there's a connection that I feel things beyond what everyone else does, and that I feel connected to everything, and about seeing and hearing things, and that people just don't understand that people are cruel. They don't get the help that they need in this world. People make fun of others. People just don't. They don't think about the truth, and that I wish I could have remembered what all she told me, what all she stated. I'm beginning to think that she was more than just a little child, and that maybe she was just put there by something, or maybe she was something that only I could see. Maybe a spirit. I don't know. But she was talking about how things are not what they seem, and that people need to realize, and that people are too cruel and caught up in their own world, and they don't realize what really exists and what's really going on and how things really are. And she was talking about all of these things to me, and this just came back to my mind recently. I thought about it again this summer, and then I started thinking about how special summer break was when I was a child, and that's what brought that back up into my mind, was when I was in elementary school. And then I thought, I haven't thought about that child in a long time, and I can't remember her name, but she just told me, "Come on up here and talk to me." And she started talking about everything and the connection with everything and how everything is and how people are and how I'm something greater. I'm something greater than just than beyond what the normal. That's just, and I'm connected with as a oneness with things beyond what people perceive, and that people should not be so cruel in this world to each other. We're supposed to help each other out, and we're leading towards something greater. We're something greater, and that I feel larger than life itself. I feel like I'm connected with everything, something more than just this world. And she started talking about all that. Now that I think back on that, that is strange. The things that she was talking about, a child just doesn't start talking to you about. This girl told me, "Hey, come on up here." I still vividly remember what she looked like. I remembered she had this sandy colored hair, and she was not even from my class, but yet was on the playground at the same time I was. Actually, in that thing that you climb up in, and it's like a lookout thing, and it had a ceiling. It was kind of cloudy, and it was about to start raining, and I went up in there, and she just started talking. She called me up in there, and then she started talking. So that's what was so strange. I guess I was about 8 at that time, a little around 8 years old, and she was probably a little bit younger than I was, and she was talking about all of these complex things that I wish I could remember all of. And then I remember the teacher at that time. She said, "All right." She called the class back and said, "Let's go back." And it was crazy how she called the class back, and that little girl, that little child told me, "Well, it's time to go on back. Go on back." She was stating that for me to go on back to class. And I was thinking, I mean, I should have thought about this, but then I was wondering, like, why didn't she go back with us? There was no other teacher out there having their class out there at that time. It was just ours. So that little child should have went back with us, but she didn't. That girl should have went back to class with us if she was a part of our group. I knew I had never seen her before. She started talking to me about all of these things that no one would just start talking to you about unless there was something more to it, something larger, something greater. And there was a bigger meaning to it. And so I don't know if she was put there as a messenger or what, but I mean, I'll never forget that, and it's something that I still remember to this day. I talked to my mama about it a while back when it came back in my mind, and I told her about it. So, but she didn't go back with us. She stayed up in there, and I walked down the ladder and went on back to class, but she didn't. She stayed. And if she was normal, just an ordinary person, and part of the class, she would have went back with us. But she didn't. So there was something strange to that. So I remembered her sitting up there just talking with me in such detail about everything, matching everything that I feel, and I wish I could remember the detailed conversations. I really do. Maybe I will someday. I don't know. But I remember she held my hands and she started talking about something. I can't remember what it was, and she started just talking in details about myself and how I was, and the consciousness and this beyond and this connection, and how people are with each other and how we should be, and that everything's not really what it seems, that there's a deeper connection beyond what people perceive right now, that most people understand, and we need to be kind to each other and love each other. So there were so many things that she talked about. That's the kinds of things that she talked about. And then it was like, well, the teacher said, "Let's go back to class." And she said, "Well, go on back to class. I guess it's time to go on back to class." And she didn't go with us. She didn't go with me. She didn't go with us. She stayed there. And I went on back to class. And I just thought about that later. I thought now that That was strange. If she was part of our class, she would have went back with us, but she didn't. So I've never shared that on here, and I decided to go ahead and share that. It's a story from my childhood. That's why I chose this as the background. I drew that on my sketch app. So thank you for watching. I've got another video to do. I might post it. I don't know. I might post it, but it's kind of strange regarding this person. I assume they were a person that I spoke to yesterday in the store. Well, wait a minute. It was Friday, I think. At Batteries Plus, or Batteries Plus Bulbs, as it is now. But I spoke to them, and they didn't act. They didn't act like a person or a human. So I've got to talk about that. I've got to talk about that next. So, but this is a story from my childhood. What do you think? Do you think that little girl was really there? Or was she, well, I mean there in a sense of as like a part of the rest of us. Like, do you think she was human or something else? Do you think she was something, a messenger, spiritual, interdimensional? Do you think she was something put into place there to speak with me? Just a messenger of some sort? That's the way I take it. That's how I feel. Like, or maybe she was a spirit or a ghost. It's like she wasn't really there, but she was. So, because she wasn't part of our class, she didn't go back with us. And if she was, she would have. And most little children don't just start talking to you about something like that. She seemed like she was about a year or two younger than I was at that time. And I was about 8. So, I was in 2nd grade. So, anyway, let me know your thoughts. I had to share this. I've been wanting to share it for a while. So, I went ahead and I'm sharing it now. So, peace and much love. Share your thoughts in the comment section or by email. Peace. Bye.